In a 3-hour siege, ISIL fighters stormed a state TV station. As security forces rushed to the scene, journalists and others fled from the explosions and gunfire in the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad. Hundreds ran, emptying the usually bustling streets of the capital of Nangarhar province.
The area is being surrounded completely. The fighting, as you see, is still ongoing. The location is under control now. 2 suicide bombers have detonated themselves.
When it was over, several were dead, dozens injured, carried off in ambulances. ISIL claimed responsibility for the attack. Despite dramatic attacks like this one, ISIL is not the greatest threat here. U.S. forces in Afghanistan say defections and recent battlefield losses have cut the ISIL presence from a peak of 3,000 to as few as 800 now. The greatest threat in Afghanistan, U.S. and Afghan officials say, has always been the Taliban.
I would categorize these two groups as bitter rivals. The Afghan Taliban are essentially fighting to take over the Afghan state. Like them or hate them, they do have a program for running Afghanistan. ISIL has no such capacity, doesn't have any such realistic program. What they're doing is they're fighting other jihadis and trying to carve out a space for themselves in part of Afghanistan.
As Afghan security forces investigate the scene of the attack, Nangarhar province remains an important front in the war in Afghanistan, home to both Taliban and ISIL fighters. Last month, the U.S. military dropped a massive ordnance air bomb, the biggest non-nuclear explosive in its arsenal, on a cave and tunnel complex in the province, killing dozens of suspected ISIL fighters. As the television station attack shows, ISIL is able to penetrate the heart of the provincial capital, not far from the regional governor's mansion. Hendren, Al Jazeera, Kabul.